From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Evening Edition.
Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan Yamamoto.
And I'm Elizabeth Cook. Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao declaring her innocence and going on the attack today in her first public appearance since the FBI raided her home.
Yeah, this comes as we're learning about a shakeup with the mayor's legal team as a result of her comments. Our team coverage starts with Wilson Walker live at City Hall. Wilson, after days of silence, well, the mayor came out swinging today with some fiery words.
Look, it was an impassioned denial. I haven't been charged with anything. I'm not even being investigated for anything because I haven't done anything wrong. It does not get more explicit than that. Then there was everything that came after the kind of denial there. The mayor says she, like all of us, is trying to figure out what is behind all of this, and the mayor has some questions of her own.
I want to know what probable cause the FBI has. What evidence have they collected that justifies raiding the home of a sitting mayor without notice and without the courtesy of a conversation? I want to know more about the handful of billionaires from San Francisco and from Piedmont who are hell-bent on running me out of office. I want to know why, the day following the qualification of a recall election, funded by some of the richest people in the Bay Area, seemed like the right day to execute a warrant.
Speaking for the first time since her home was raided, Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao said it was the FBI that has questions to answer, denying any wrongdoing. She placed the investigation squarely in the context of the campaign to recall her from office, never directly saying the raid was the work of her opponents, but placing the two in a kind of alignment.
I'm seeking the truth right now, just as much as you all are. But I will not be bullied, and I will not be disparaged, and I will not be threatened out of this office. There are a lot of radical right-wing forces who know they will never win an election in Oakland fair and square. They know their extreme views are at odds with our Oakland values.
Now, the closest the mayor might have come to suggesting the raid was politically motivated was when she described other elected officials, not by name, who she says have been actually accused of wrongdoing without the same treatment.
Their innocence presumed until proven guilty. They will never face this indignity. This I know for sure because I was born poor in America, and that teaches you a lot about the world from day one. And I am your mayor. I am the mayor to all the Oaklanders who work hard, who are working overtime to do the right thing and to make the world a better place. And no matter how hard you strive and push and fight and stay positive, and that you don't give up because you believe in yourself and you know what you have to offer this world, that you just cannot catch a break. Well, guess what? I'm not going down like that. We're not going down like that.
Mayor left without taking questions, said to have not taken questions on the advice of her attorney. Now, we should mention that when she discussed sort of unnamed politicians in the hills, she specifically referenced campaign financing as part of these alleged violations that she was talking about. Interesting, obviously, because that has been some of the conversation that has surrounded this case, but it was a defiant denial of anything. You know, this has nothing to do with me, which is quite a response. And as Professor Taylor pointed out, it just sort of gives us another day of wondering what is going to come out of this. What are we going to learn about why the FBI went in that house? It's like the stakes on that question just keep getting higher with the denials from the mayor. Now, more on this coming up at 6 o'clock. We have some expertise on the FBI, and does the FBI owe a courtesy to the mayor before they go into the mayor's home, even if it doesn't specifically involve the mayor? That's a question. And then what about the politics of that? Who was the mayor talking to with those remarks today? More coming up at 6 o'clock.
All right, thanks, Wilson Walker, reporting live from Oakland City Hall. And Wilson mentioned the attorney. One person who was caught off guard by the mayor's statements today was her attorney, Tony Brass. He confirmed to our Julia Goodrich he has withdrawn from representing Thao after her comments this morning.
When I heard the content of the press conference, it just became clear to me that the mayor and I had very different approaches or different philosophies about how to proceed, which is fine. She is the client.
Brass also told Juliet he didn't know the mayor was going to speak this morning and would have advised against it. We'll have more from their conversation this afternoon coming up at 6 o'clock.
Meanwhile, some instant feedback to the mayor's statement right outside City Hall from the group trying to oust her from office. Our Kevin Coe was there at Frank Ogawa Plaza as Thao's critics responded to her claims.
As Mayor Sheng Thao was speaking inside of Oakland City Hall, some of her most vocal critics across Oakland, well, they were right outside of the building. That's because there was already a rally, a recall rally specifically planned at 11 a.m. this morning, before the sudden announcement that Mayor Thao would be speaking in a press conference. That gave the opportunity for all of these folks, some of her most vocal critics, to listen to her live as she was providing a statement for the first time since that raid on Thursday at her home.
We're extremely at odds with our Oakland values, but they have built the rules to protect and preserve.
As Mayor Thao addressed the FBI raid for the first time, the critics who accused her of staying silent the past 4 days were listening closely.
And I am your mayor, Mayor Sheng Thao.
The group, Oakland United to Recall Sheng Thao, says the city's urgent issues demand accountability from its mayor.
I'm not going down like that. We're not going down like that. The people
Immediately after Mayor Thao's press conference wrapped up, her critics made their voices heard.
Come out now. Come out now. Come down here. Come down here. Come down here right now.
Organizers of the recall effort took exception to Mayor Thao's words that radical right-wing forces were working to get her out of office. They also pushed back at Thao's claims that billionaires in San Francisco and Piedmont are funding the recall.
All of our money comes from inside of Oakland for the most part. We're going to report it and you're going to see it June 30th.
I'm begging her as well, come and tell me to my face that this is a right-wing conspiracy or something. Right. Accept responsibility. It's a red herring. It shows that she's scared and she's desperate. Don't start trying to deflect and defer and project and try to make sure and try to have people asking about other things. Talk about the merits of the recall.
We do not hate you. We don't like what you're doing to our city.
Today was also the first time Mayor Thao spoke about the mass shooting on Juneteenth and expressed sympathy for the 15 people wounded from gunfire. The delayed response from Thao concerns Flo, a mother who calls Lake Merritt her backyard and safe place.
For me, I feel like, crime is a major issue. I'm a mother. So for me, shootings is concerning, and I'd like to know that Oakland is moving towards like a place of being very quick to address these kind of issues. My concern is that, I live here. This is my neighborhood, and so I heard there were shootings on Lake Merritt, and I was like, that is just too close to home.
Flo doesn't have a strong opinion about the recall efforts, but organizers like Seneca Scott say today's press conference motivates them to push even further.
We knew exactly what she would do. Take no questions from the public after disappearing for several days, over 100 hours or so, blame everyone, scapegoat over 41,000 neighbors who signed her petition.
This was the group's second rally in 2 days, but they say nothing they heard from Thao today changes their demands, that she should resign as mayor.
Okay, so let's take you back through the events of last week. Mayor Thao's home that she shares with her partner, Andre Jones, was raided early Thursday morning. FBI agents were seen leaving with several boxes and duffel bags from the mayor's home on Maiden Lane. The FBI still has not released any details about what exactly they're looking for. Agents also raided a home on Viewcrest Court that is linked to Andy Duong. He is a member of the family that owns Cow Waste Solutions, has become a regular face in local, state, and national politics. We also saw FBI and IRS agents taking boxes from Cow Waste Solutions office. This is along the city's waterfront, and